Welcome back, everyone, to the Insecure audio commentary series here on the Polaris Network. I am one of the co-founders and also your host, Bree Mei-Li. Thank you for tuning in again for episode 7. We're almost at the end, y'all. I already have the tears forming in my eyes, but I do want to introduce my lovely co-host this evening. Hello, ladies. We'll start off with you, Melissa.
Hey everyone, it's Melissa from According to This Black Girl podcast.
And it's Ashley R tonight.
And this is Kamerie.
So let's go ahead and get right into this episode. This is called Chillin, okay? And we start off the episode with the four chicas, what's another word? I guess I don't have another name for it, but all 4 of the girls are back together again. I love every episode when they all are featured. So this is definitely one of my highlights of the season. And I just want to start out with that moment with Kelly coughing when she had the blunt in her hand. And that was literally me, like every time. That's why I don't do if you're listening to this and you know me, I do it every so often. I smoke weed a little bit. Well, I don't really. I actually like edibles because it's better for my lungs, for me, because I cough so terribly and I feel like I'm about to die. But that whole moment just made me laugh so hard because of that.
Yes. I love, of course, we got Issa getting the pregame started, rolling the joints. I love it. I was like, this has to be TV because nobody arrive at the same time. That's what I was thinking. Like, nobody arrived at the same time. But I loved it. The girls walking in, getting ready to do this. And obviously they're taking this girl's day off to help Molly take her mind off of her mother's recovery. So, of course, Issa's the first to kind of slip up, but she's like, all right, but I ain't gonna say it again. So I do love that moment. And Kelly had so many gems this episode. So I can't wait to talk about more of those.
Right. I did notice all the P. Diddy placements in this, if you guys peeped, because they had the Last Night song.
Yes.
They play. I was like, oh, she got clearance for that? And then I saw the Ciroc. I'm like, okay. I meant to look at the credits to see if P. Diddy was in it, but he definitely sponsored that. He really, yes, he really did. I loved it. Issa is securing all the bags with Insecure. I love all the sponsorship opportunities.
Yes, I love it.
I just like that it felt like a girls' night that you could actually have. Like canceling plans because you guys are having a deep moment and you don't want to leave. Like that's a real thing that could happen. We're not just gonna, fake friends would be like, oh well, we're just gonna go to dinner. We can talk about this at dinner. No, we need to talk about this in the house and like make each other feel good. And I just really love that they like made it feel really real.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah. I think having a girls' night is so important in friendships, and I really appreciated this episode for that reason. Because I had like a recent one when I went on my birthday trip with 2 of my best friends, one from high school, one from college, and I felt so full, y'all. Like just spending time with like your friends and just not thinking of, like just saying whatever, just catching up on your life and just having someone just to talk to, especially when when you're adults, you all have your own separate lives, but when you come together, it just feels so good. Just to have that release. So it just gave me flashbacks to that, and I actually text them like, oh my gosh, I miss y'all so much. But I think having like just getting together and women in general, just like being with friends and not having like not that there's anything wrong with like males, but just having that group of core feminine energy around you just feels so good to be around.
Agree. Oh my goodness. I love that Kelly is Cali sober, and I actually looked that up because I was like, you know what? I hear that all the time.
Wait, was it Cali sober?
Cali sober.
What does that mean?
That means you don't drink, but you smoke.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. I like it. I learned something new tonight. Got my girl Googles out so I could, be in on the joke. Like, okay. I love that. And she said she was going to go ahead and finish off that soggy joint. I was like, this is too much. This too much.
So nasty. um
Oh
oh,
my
so
God.
they did, when they were talking with each other, they Issa brought up the fact that Nathan, in their questions game, Nathan said that Issa was inconsistent. So I just wanted to ask y'all, do you think Issa is inconsistent as well?
I'm just gonna say her friends co-signed that, so I'm gonna let her friends be the
Right.
judge of it.
Yep.
I'm just gonna
They
be
know
like, they
her.
know her, so I'm gonna let them. I'm siding with the friends on this one.
So so when Nathan said it in the previous episode, or whatever episode that was, were you on his side or
Oh no,
Issa's?
I definitely was with Nathan on that because it's true. He
Hmm.
said exactly what it was. You cried in my mouth just like 3 hot seconds ago, and then you say you want to take it slow, and now you love me. Like I'm with Nathan on this
Yeah.
one.
I feel that.
I can see it. I can see
Hmm.
it.
Okay. Cause I was like, Issa really felt like, I felt Issa like was like, how dare you, in that moment.
No one wants to see what they're doing, but their friends see it. Your friends know when you're on your shit.
Hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
100%. I love the fact that, again, Kelly with the joke. She said, "Do you still have a subscription to Lids?" And Issa confirms that indeed she does. But the reason she has brought said hat is to play the questions game. So I love the idea of the questions game. It definitely has me wanting to do such and so with the peoples.
Hmm. No, yeah, exactly. I was thinking that. I'm like, that would be an interesting game to play. Besides, like, because it seems, no, I wouldn't say would you rather, but
well,
kind of like.
it is an interesting game. We're actually going to do something very similar for the start of our season 2 for our podcast.
Hmm.
And I didn't know that they were doing that, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a sign that we
Oh, that's
actually
just.
this is going to work out." Like
Confirmation.
confirmation that this is going to work out.
Yep, yep. And they
Yeah,
had signs in that episode too, so
I
I love
know.
the I love the correlation.
Yeah.
Love it.
Um,
Think
and I
we Oh, go for it.
oh, go ahead, Ashley.
Oh no, I was just going on to Lawrence and Condola next. So if you had something else to say in that pocket, keep going for it.
Oh no, oh yeah, we can talk about Lawrence and Condola, because I was like, that exchange, I was like, oh, is
Yes.
that
Yes.
I was
Yes.
like glued. I'm like, what's gonna
Interesting.
going on here right now?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So Lawrence comes in, he's dropping off baby Jaw, also known as Eli, because he's got nicknames out here in the streets.
Hmm.
He brings in her things, her packages, and it's like, offering his time and his what man skills of putting some furniture together. And I'm like, okay, I see you
I see. I thought, naturally, I was like, Lawrence, he should offer that. He should offer to do that for the mother of his child. Even if they're not together, I feel like, but I could be, this is just like my opinion, the outside looking in. I love that he did that. I love that he like showed initiative, and I love that Condola received that request as well.
Yeah.
helpful.
Because back the few episodes back, the tension filled episode, they were not
Mm-hmm.
budging in their ways.
Yeah.
So I love that exchange, that they're actually coming to like a healthy co-parenting situation, but it looks like it's moving into something else.
It could be romantic. And I think that I love that they shine light on Condola saying that she thought about having an abortion, because
Mm-hmm.
it makes so much sense that she was so resentful to Lawrence. And it kind of didn't make sense to me during that episode why she was so
Mm.
resentful. Yeah, he kind of didn't want to be with you anymore. But he said he was trying to step up. She was just doing too much. And now it makes sense. It's like she was upset with herself and she was taking it out on him. She was
Mm.
projecting onto him. And now that she's let that go by telling him, I think they can move forward in a positive way.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I just love the fact that just the initial exchange was just, it felt, the energy felt different. Like just being
Yeah.
able, because we just a little bit ago, she didn't trust him to take the child around the corner. And now it seems as though the child has been with him maybe, for the weekend or what have you. So really just the change and the growth. And I think it's a testament to the work that they've also put in to make this a lot better of a situation for the sake of their child. So I thought that was really nice.
Yeah. Was I
To
gonna?
be,
Yeah, and he was stepping up and coming to the appointments now. Like he just moved, and I think that move really did solidify that he's in it for the long haul now. And I think that makes her like feel at least safer to, trust him more.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be honest, it still feels like so like contrived and like manipulative on Condola's part. Like it's been about her from the beginning, like her feeling better now about the situation that she ultimately created for herself, you know?
yeah.
Like even like from that one instant, like it just hurt my heart when Lawrence like walked in on that conversation when she was talking to her friends about, or when he heard his friends say that she was referring to him like as like a toy almost, you know.
Oh, that one, that was, yeah, that moment was.
And it's like then for her to like try to take that back and then get pregnant by him and then get upset that he was being truthful, like, you know, I don't know, it's kind of like
I think I said it a few episodes ago. She has never apologized for her actions, and I was waiting for it when they were talking and like being in that zone and co-parenting great. I was like, this is the time for her to say sorry, and they still didn't write it in. Issa, if
exactly
you ever listen to this, girl, like
exactly
you need to show that women also have to apologize.
yes,
Yeah,
like she
You know?
sounded so entitled, it just came
Yeah,
off so entitled, like she
yeah.
gets everything she wants, the job, the beautiful like clothes, like, you know, like the man, the baby, like her family was there for her. Like, no, you have to like relax. So when Lawrence was like, no, she was like, what do you? If it seems like she was like, what do you mean no? Like I get everything I want, even like because I work hard for it. But that still doesn't mean it's gonna work in your favor just because you feel like you're, you know,
yep.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even realize she really didn't say apologize for that.
Mm-mm.
She
And
has. They're
that
not going to
was,
make her probably, but she should.
yeah, because we're too deep in now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that moment with the abortion thing, it could have been said in that moment too.
Right. She said, "You're a good dad. That's the time. You're a good dad. You know, I'm really sorry
Hmm.
for whatever happened before. You're a good dad." She could have put
Hmm.
it there, and
Yeah.
the fact that she didn't, it speaks to that entitlement. It speaks to the, well, I was in my feelings, or I'm his mother, so I was whatever, whatever. And no, you actually have to say you're sorry.
Hmm. Yeah. Maybe I feel like she never was really with Lawrence in that capacity to even make that thought come across her mind to say I'm sorry. Because she
Yeah.
was just, so like streamlined and be like, oh, this is fine. This is just, we're two adults having fun, instead of thinking about Lawrence's feelings about the situation. But
Yeah.
yeah, again, it was mostly about her. But I think that speaks to, where she was and where she is. And I think now that she has a baby, she's starting to consider other people's feelings now.
Mm. Mm.
Um, so I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get like a in-depth look at Condola beyond
Nah.
maybe, because
No.
that tension episode and this one I think would have been like the best ones. But yeah, I think yeah, that ship has sailed with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's an off chance, because again, there's a lot of stuff we don't see. If she did apologize, obviously, I think it probably happened off.
Off, yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking that,
off
but I feel
camera.
like
If
that was like one of the most. I felt like that moment in this episode was the first thing she ever like felt. It felt like the first time she ever said something vulnerable to him.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say that she felt soft in this scene,
Yeah.
like it
Yeah.
felt a whole lot softer than any
Hmm.
interaction that we've had
With those
in
two.
recently,
So
as
that.
especially as recent.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And even
Her
then,
face
like,
was even softer.
right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it kind of like and it was like hesitation at first, and then it slowly went into it. So that's made me think like I don't think she would ever have that conversation with him.
Yeah, you very well may be right.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. So speaking of Lawrence, we could flip the switch to Issa.
Okay, before we go back to Issa, because there's some good gems that I need to call out because they're very important. The very first important thing is Kelly says she thinks about Derek when she masturbates.
Oh,
did anybody else fall out?
Yes.
I think I spit my water out when I was like, wait, what?
And then Tiffany's face was like, wait,
what? Yeah.
And then Issa's like, okay, next.
And then, of course, here comes the question about the vase. We still trying to figure out what happened to the vase years later.
I love that. I love that running joke.
It's like, let it go. We're not letting it go.
She's like, just tell the truth, Issa. No, those. And then it was one question, and then Issa's like, "What loser put this in the hat?"
The one about the cereal.
And the milk.
Oh my goodness, that was hilarious.
Like, yeah. And there was one moment too that I was like, "Oh no, it was that other moment that I wanted to bring up." But I'm trying to think, is there anything else?
Oh, there's more.
The exes.
The ex question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's further down.
Mm-hmm. Was that before? That was before the Lawrence, or was that after Lawrence?
It's before Lawrence, but it's a little further down. We do have to talk about Trina because we have not seen her in a while. My girl Trina came to knock on the door and complain.
And she's like, I thought I heard a bird.
Between Kelly again with the jokes. Like, she was just in here. Her and her beef with Trina took me down a bit. And
wait,
like,
so what is that beef?
I don't know.
Is that
we never saw it? We don't. I think this is the first time we've seen the beef between them. It felt like they got along at one episode. I don't remember which one, but I feel like there was one episode where Kelly and Trina had a moment. So they must have like had like an offline mini friendship, and then apparently Trina's son Benjamin might be a bad influence on Kelly. Did she ever think that? Because I want to know too. What's Benjamin up to doing?
I was like, what? What did you do, Kelly?
Yeah, too many questions, not enough answers.
Right? And that's what it happens. I think that's the whole persona of Kelly. A lot of questions and not enough answers.
Listen, she always got something popping off, and let me tell you, she's ready to go, and I'm here for it.
What is her job? Because she said something about she is done working for other white men to get more money. It seems like some type of consulting job.
I think she was in finance, because it seems as though with the preview for the next episode, Molly and her are sitting with her parents talking about like trust, or whatever, estate planning. That's the word I was going for. So maybe something in finance.
Okay, that would make sense then. Oh, because maybe I wonder if Kelly had anything to do with bringing in all those like sponsors. You remember that day when Issa was trying to get people for her block party? So I wonder if that would be some of those people as well. I didn't know that.
Strong possibility.
Interesting. They all working.
Listen,
woman.
I love it. Then next we slide into Molly gets a quick little phone call, but it's work.
Oh yeah, work.
I love that moment.
I know from experience. I've gotten one of them calls. Those is fun.
Yeah, and just like sitting giggling on the phone
with your colleague.
Right, I love that. And of course, here comes Kelly again, with the question out of the hat. Y'all fucking? Because she don't beat around the bush. She going straight to it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. I was wondering if Molly and them did, but I was glad to hear that they didn't like cross the line yet. I was like, ooh, I get to see it.
Yes.
I get to see it in fruition. I don't want to hear about it. I want to see it.
Agree. I love the change in communication. Like, I love that she's describing how, again, just a different side of Torian that I don't think we've seen for the last, season and a half. So really and you know what makes me, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking of when she was at the holiday party or whatever party she was with Andrew, and Andrew was describing Torian, and he was like, "That's Torian." I'm curious because she had described him in such good detail that Andrew was able to immediately pick him out. So maybe she secretly had her eye on him but didn't know it, and that just came to me. So who knows?
Maybe.
I I think it was just like it bothers her for people, you know, because she was saying how she wanted to like be friends with them. And I think maybe it was just because she was like just so bothered by the fact that they didn't like her. And you know, when like that could like replay in her mind and stuff and like question like what can she do? Not to the point like where Issa would like be all, trying to I'm trying to like I'm saying it through Issa's like personality, what she probably would do in that situation and like try to like talk to them until like they start liking her. I feel like that's like a Issa personality. And I think Molly would just like I think Molly held back a lot until like that moment with I think she I don't even want to say overcompensate, but she would be she would what's the word? She wouldn't show her true self around them. Like she wanted to stay in this perfect image.
Yeah.
But what was I going with? Oh, so the Torian thing. Yeah, so I think that just bothered her. And I think that's she had like that image like I think that image kept on playing and I think that's what made it seem like she really liked him. But I don't know. It has a possibility of a million.
I hope it works out. And I think they're doing it in the right way. Like they're not just going and, oh, we're going to go out for drinks one night and then they're just going to go back and have sex. It's like they're texting, they're communicating, but they not think that they're building a relationship, but they are.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
Checking in, just talking about her mom, like I think that they're finally showing that Molly can have an adult relationship that's not toxic with somebody else's husband or with
and
somebody.
and the fact that Dro killed
right, and then Dro comes up. Like
that moment, all the exes.
Listen. I love the fact where she asked if she could give him the green light and then the song comes on. So cute. I like what they did with that. So I'm, again, like you said, I am glad that we're going to be able to witness this, to see how it kind of unfolds. And I'm hopeful because it seems like they have very similar personalities, similar kind of goals. So I hope that it would like I know we're probably not going to see the end of it, but in my imaginary world where they're moving forward, that they would last a really long time.
Yeah, I think they would be really good for each other because I think just the walls they had up around each other, now that they see each other for who they are, because I honestly think they were attracted to each other, like you said, off the bat, but they just it didn't click. Because of like, their preconceived notions on each other. But I'm excited. I'm so excited to see it. But I do. Okay, now we have to go into Lawrence now. The whole what was the question said and then they brought up Lawrence. Was it the ex's question?
Yeah, I think it was the ex's question because I think right before that, Kelly said she discovered walking, which that's where I think I actually spit my water out at now that I'm thinking about it, because it was such a revelation to her. Like, do you ever just go for a walk?
And they're like, yeah.
We invite you all the time.
That part. And then they were going through the exes. And again, Kelly with Daniel, like she was just like, yeah, that's definitely the one I'm going to give it to.
Wait, so
nobody picked Lawrence though.
Oh, I think they were done with his ish.
Well, I think that I think he's too close. I think he probably even though he's an ex, because it's so recent, it's probably like still kind of off limits. So you got to go to those like freshman hall, Marshawn at the
right
lunch place. Yeah.
I would say that, but the fact that Kelly said Derek for Tiffany, I don't know about that. I don't know about the off limits.
Well, they're happily married, so I guess Kelly can joke about that because it's not a possibility.
You're right. Because Issa, Issa's still like,
it's still kind of raw.
for
And
her.
that's where she then discusses how she saw Laura. And I love that my phone really says condolences at the hospital, and I don't correct it ever. I'm like, yep, condolences. But I love that moment of just saying, and it's interesting because where she says she was looking for closure. And I'm kind of like, what closure?
What
You were the
closure?
one who kind of dipped out. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
you never, like, there was not even a conversation. You kind of
Yeah.
just was like, nah, player. And then like, that was it. So it's, for me, it was weird to expect closure when you could have had it, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
She said she felt guilty. And so I thought they may go into that a little bit more, maybe the next episode. But she said she felt guilty about how it ended.
Yeah.
Really how she
And
ended it.
and that's what I loved what Tiffany said
Yes.
about the
Yes.
I wrote it. I was like, it doesn't have to be the smart choice for it to be right. I was like, that was just a great line, because it's true, because you sometimes you get so caught up thinking about what's the best decision, and you get so much in your head,
Yep.
when the real decision at the end of the day is your happiness. Are you going to be truly happy? And you have to follow what's going to make you happy, instead of thinking what's best like in your head.
Yeah.
Because you really have to sit in there and live with your decision. You're not thinking through your decision, if that makes sense. So I love that they brought that up, that it was just and they were both saying two different things about like how she made the smart choice, and then Tiffany backdoored and said that. And I think both could be possibilities.
That I was confused that everybody was co-signing not being a stepmom again in their age group.
Sis,
All
say it
single,
again.
Tiffany with a baby in your age group, you out here not co-signing stepmom? But I'm confused.
And see, you know what I thought was interesting? The fact with, well, we didn't mention it, but I do like, well, no, they teased me again because Tiffany said something, everything Derek and I went through. I know that they were probably talking specifically about the postpartum, but remember, there was some drama that I still don't know what happened. So I think it's interesting that obviously, again, there's this growth that's happening even within Tiffany's relationship. And I think it's telling that the person who is married, who is at this point happily married, is saying like, girl, like it's not that simple, you know. There is some other portions here that you could consider. So I thought it was very interesting that the choice was that Tiffany said it too, because she has navigated the dating waters, if you will.
Yeah, because I think marriage in itself, you have to keep on committing to a person, and through the changes they're going through individually. Because whenever you marry someone for the first time, they're still going through changes, because life happens, and you're always changing, and it's like you have to always, no matter what's happening, how the person is changing, you have to consistently make that decision to love them. And that, I feel like that's a hard task in itself.
Yeah, agree.
But yeah, I love the dynamic of the friend group and how different each of them are in their journeys, and how vulnerable they were in this question game. I liked it, because I think it did start getting deeper, and they started being more transparent with. That's what the key word to this episode was transparency to me.
Yeah.
They were all of it, and I think that's what I love the most about it. But and then Mulatto was playing in the background, I think, like right after that moment. I forgot what happened, but I love Mulatto. Wait, is her name no, it's Lotto now. It's Lotto. Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
Somebody was like, sis, do you know what? Are you sure? Like, are you sure that's what you would like to be called?
Right. Oh my gosh. I remember that whole thing with that, her name.
Okay, so the mini bomb, obviously, they're having this big I love you moment, the group hug, which is the moment I think was probably my happiest moment for this episode, just to see them really embrace, because, again, we came off a rocky season for Issa and Molly, and then prior to that, Tiffany and Kelly had a rocky patch. So it's really great to see them come together. But as they're having this hug, Tiff's like, Derek and I might move to Denver. And I'm like, wait, what? Anybody else have feelings around that?
You know, they had to do it with it coming to an end. Somebody had to move away. That's in the formula. But I know what that's like, because I'm always the person moving away from my friends. Having to tell them, like, I moved here from Michigan. I didn't have any friends in Michigan, but I moved from DC to Michigan, and all of my friends and family were there. And it was like, hey guys, I'm leaving. And oh, by the way, then I'm going further away to California. So I know what that feels like. You don't want to say, because then it's real. That is true. And you just, as adults, you people move. But if you have, I have had friends that I've been friends with for 15 years, and we're still friends multiple times a week. If you want to get work, you can. I think that they were showing by not going to the dinner, like they're going to stay friends.
Right.
Agree.
I liked it. Yeah. Yes.
Even though Kelly had to put away her going out titties.
No, yeah, it's all, yeah. It's all about a choice, and you know, you make room for the choice. Am I saying that right?
Say it again.
You make choices. You make time for the choices you.
Yes.
It's something around.
Agree.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. I was like, what am I saying right now? But I'm glad you guys get what I'm saying, because cool. But yeah, I definitely think they're gonna stay together for sure, and like have those flying ins and outs. And I'm glad to see that, because they've been friends since college, and they're still going strong, and they're making time for each other, which I really enjoy seeing on the screen. I think, what was okay. So when it was like the moment with the exes, and Kelly was like, it's the time, you got to get a start before them or whatever, before reaching out. I laughed out loud when Issa was like, Molly was like, who are you calling? And she was like, Lawrence. I'm like, what? Like, that came out of nowhere. But I'm so glad Molly had that moment with Issa. And you know, because I think I saw like Prentice Penny say something, and like, or was it Issa or something? The wind down, whatever. You would typically hype your friends up, but you know, she went a step above and was like, truly showed that she cared about her. Was like, hey, we just talked about your inconsistency, you're about to do that again, I just want to put you on blast.
You're sober. If you want to sober, then do it tomorrow. And
and then Issa actually listened to her.
I love that. I really do. I love that moment. I love the exchange, because like you said, it's really about caring. It's about like being more responsible too. Just being like, hey, be better. I would be you, but be better, if that makes sense. I do have to point out again, Kelly with the mess, talking about Daniel Kaluuya done slid in her DMs, and sis, she's like, he got your address. Like, I can't. Kelly again, such a star in this.
She
in this
really
episode.
is. I'm like a Natasha fan, like hardcore fan. I'm the next on her stan train now. For sure. But so the day after.
All the juice. Oh, before we go there, what do you think Dro was calling about? Other than maybe he's calling to check on her mom. I hope that's the case, but otherwise, I don't want none of this. Okay, return to sender. Please do not bring that over here. I do not want.
I could say from a production standpoint of like, they threw that in there to show her growth, but she didn't answer the phone, which I think, like, even if I was her, I'm like, I would have been done with Dro, sis, because Dro was terrible, sis, completely terrible. I was like, Molly, what are you doing? Like, especially after Andrew. What happened?
Fine, terrible. I'm just saying.
Fine and terrible, toxic. That's
Yeah.
a prime example of toxic dick. That's what it is, right
Yeah.
there. Get out of here. We don't want it. We don't want it. We're doing better in 2022.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got a good
Still a
man
few weeks left in
horizon.
2021.
Work with him.
Yeah. I was like, but I don't, what would he be? I think he was literally, I think honestly, I think he was in his feels. He really missed Molly. And I truly feel like he was just trying to like see if he could come back. Because men do that. They want to like, test it out to see if like, oh, maybe I can try to slide in. Let's see where you're at right now. I don't want to say all men do that, but
They normally do that with a text though. What you doing? Nothing. Out my life. Nothing.
Yeah. We just don't want it. That's all I know. Dro,
Yeah.
take yourself someplace far from here.
Yeah, I was never
perhaps to your wife. Stay with your wife. Okay, leave me be.
Right. I'm like, don't. Because Tarian is looking promising. I want to see that.
Tasty.
But yeah, so she hung up she listened to Molly. Then the next day,
get into it, girl.
Nathan texted her like, hey, let me know when you're ready. And I look, he had boundaries. Like, he knew that she was having a girls' night and didn't mess with her, so she could just be with her girls, which I appreciated. I love that. And he like literally like shed his he just told her,
yeah,
like, I loved you all this time.
Woo, let me tell you. Listen, the bass in his voice. He says, I love you. Something about it like straightened my back a little bit. I said, okay. All right, Nathan, I see you. I see you.
I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting. I thought he was just going to be like, I don't think it's working out.
Listen, that's what I thought. For that pause, that very pregnant pause he gave us. Way to act, okay? Way to give me the pause, because it gave me just a bit of doubt for me to be like, bro, he's about to be like, I'm out. I gotta go.
Right. And then Issa was I feel like Issa was about to call Lawrence. Well, but I was like, okay. I was like, I don't know how. Okay. The last episode, I was like, I don't know if I want them together, because I kind of wanted them single. But now that he actually took that step, but Issa was in the wrong, because she was trying to force that from him, when you have to take your time with that, especially when it's something so like, you really want to know if you truly you want to know you mean it before you just say it.
Absolutely.
Their history, with all their history, you don't want to jump into an I love you and then something else happens and now again. Like you were right, Bree. She was forcing it really for no reason. Like I think it's just because she saw Lawrence. But I don't
Yeah, that's how I felt too. Like, she was
I was gonna just say, like, it's the insecurity. It's that portion of really putting yourself out there. Yeah. And then feeling that like, oh wait, so you don't like me? Because I feel like anybody would go to that place where you do all the negative self-talk, all the things you would kind of just be like, oh, you stupid hoe, why did you say that? Or, sorry, I was a little aggressive, but like you go through all of those things where
that's true.
You're trying to figure out, okay, well, why did I say that? Was that and so I do love the fact that there was such good, and it was such a short conversation, but I love the fact that he called himself childish. He was like, I was on that childish shit. I can avoid things. Like, they're really
grown men taking accountability for their emotions.
Yes.
Listen.
Snap.
That was it for me. Like, I love that moment, because it really does feel like he took a moment to step back. And I do love the fact that he was like, I've just never really said this before. So again, there's this space of growth, because it's scary when you do feel the same way, but you're still trying to figure it out. Cause I still feel like there's a lot of, and the fact that she was like, so you're going to stay and you're going to figure it out. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to stay. So, I feel pretty good
promising
about
for
that
this
moment. Yeah.
But now,
listen, that moment,
it was so great. I loved it. I was like, okay, Yes, we're going somewhere. He's stepping up, and then Issa's starting to see like where her shortcomings are, and acknowledging that. So it could be something promising. So I'm excited about that. And and then the Lawrence, I was like, shoot, the ending of the episode, we had to end with the call of Lawrence. I'm like, oh, dang it. Because I like knowing Lawrence, I know he was just so happy to see that call.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang. So it's like these episodes end with like a little like
a cliffhanger every week. Thank you. Thank
exactly.
you. My heart can't take it, but that's fine.
Exactly. But it was I truly enjoyed this episode. Or I think I was talking with Ashley before we started recording. I feel like we're finally getting like what I wanted from the season in like the later half.
I agree.
Like this was definitely a feel good episode for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other thoughts on it?
I don't have any other thoughts on this episode. Did anybody watch the preview for next week? So is Nathan trying to move in or what?
Yeah. He's trying to make it their place.
Definitely. I mean, they've known each other for a long time, so I felt like they feel more a lot like comfortable now. Now that that's out, the I love yous are out, I feel like they're like ready to just like get it like started.
Yes. And then, okay. And I'm glad that you said it again. Just because as they're getting off the phone and he hits her with that initiating, I love you. Ooh, that was the one for me. I was like, yes. Not only am I going to call and tell you all my feelings, but I'm going to reaffirm exactly what I said. Listen, I almost passed out. Y'all, I almost didn't make the podcast because I was passed out behind it. Like, yes.
I'm actually so excited to see their relationship because at first I was like, I don't know, but I'm excited now. I really am.
I wonder what deal. Okay, so that and we see that Crenshaw is back around. I love that. What's the assistant's name? Because she was ready to pop off. She's like, I usually don't fight my brothers, but I will. Come on.
I dang, I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
I love her. I wish I knew her name.
She's loyal. She's loyal.
Listen,
definitely
she was
loyal.
ready. She was ready. I'm curious because we had that little piece of that. And then now Issa's getting paid. So I don't know what deal she closed, but I'm excited. This is stuff that we talked about last week, what we wanted to see for Issa.
Now it's happening.
So I'm excited that is happening, that she is moving forward in her business. And I hope there's a reconciliation. Like, my real hope is that Crenshaw is here after he's had some time to cool and also realize his childish ways. I mean, a girl can hope that you could get all of it, but we don't know.
Right. That's what I'm hoping for too, because he looks like he has a stronghold in that community. So hopefully, I really hope so, because I and it looks like it has, because she's happy about like whatever deal she did, but that's next up. I can't wait. Episode 8.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, we talked for almost an hour, but
this was good.
This was
a good episode. We had things to say.
We did. Thank you so much, Issa, and the creators and writers of Insecure, because you guys did an amazing job. But thank you all again for coming and joining me on this podcast, and thank you all for listening. Make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe for us to come back next week to hear our thoughts and opinions on episode 8. Thank you, ladies, and thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a nice night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Bye.